6 weeks after rolling out artificial intelligence, everything looks like a success. Processes are faster, costs are lower. The team is getting through more work than before. If you look at the numbers, it looks like the project worked. So leadership moves on, marks it as done, starts the next initiative. And that's exactly where the problem begins, because inside the company, something else is happening. Not obvious, not visible in reports, but real. People start adding small steps, extra checks, manual corrections, quick fixes before or after the artificial intelligence does its job. Nothing dramatic, just small adjustments, and nobody talks about it, because technically, the artificial intelligence is still working. Have you seen this? Where everything looks efficient on paper, but the people inside the process feel something is off? That's the part of artificial intelligence adoption that gets missed, and it's why early success is often misleading. This is an artificial intelligence clone, by the way, on purpose, because this is exactly how we use artificial intelligence inside our own work. I run Data Wonder. We build artificial intelligence systems for insurance companies, accounting firms, healthcare providers. So what I'm describing here is not theoretical. We see this pattern repeat constantly. Here's what most companies believe. If artificial intelligence improves a process early on, that improvement will continue. That's the assumption. Early success, long-term efficiency. But that's not what actually happens. Let me show you what's really going on. In one company we worked with, they automated part of their client onboarding, document intake, classification, routing. The first month looked great. Processing time dropped, backlogs disappeared, everything moved faster, so they called it a success. But 2 months later, something changed. Not in the system, but in the team. People started reviewing documents before sending them to the artificial intelligence, just quickly, just to be safe, because they had noticed that certain formats cause small issues. Nothing big, just enough to make them cautious. So they adapted, quietly, without reporting it. And the numbers still looked good, because the artificial intelligence was still performing. But the process had changed. That's where it breaks, because now the system only works because humans are compensating for it, and nobody is measuring that. So leadership sees artificial intelligence improved efficiency, but reality is efficiency is being rebuilt manually around the system. This is the contradiction. And this is why early success is misleading, because what you're measuring is not the final system. It's the system before people adapt to it. And people always adapt. That's the part most companies underestimate. They assume if the artificial intelligence works, the process is solved. But the process doesn't stay the same. It evolves around the artificial intelligence, and not always in the direction you expect. A few months ago, an accounting firm ran an internal review. Everything looked stable, no major issues. The system was doing what it was supposed to do. But when they looked closer, they found something strange. Different team members were getting different outputs for the same type of input. Not wrong, just inconsistent. Rounding differences, categorization differences, slight variations in how results were interpreted. Nothing that triggered an alert, but enough that a client could notice, and nobody inside the team could fully explain why. That's not a model failure, that's drift, and it doesn't show up immediately. That's why early success is dangerous, because it creates confidence before the system has actually stabilized. And once that confidence is there, oversight drops. People stop watching closely. And that's when small problems start compounding. Now here's the deeper issue. Early success hides where the system is fragile, because in the beginning, everything is aligned. Inputs are clean, processes are controlled, the environment matches what the system expects. But real companies don't stay stable. Templates change, clients behave differently, teams adjust how they work. New edge cases appear, and the artificial intelligence doesn't adapt automatically. It keeps running, as if nothing changed. That's the real problem, because from the outside, it still looks like it's working, and from the inside, people start working around it, without anyone making a decision. It just happens. That's why you get 6 months in, and leadership starts asking, why does this feel less effective than before? Or worse, why are we still doing manual work? And the conclusion becomes, the artificial intelligence didn't deliver. But that's not what happened. The system drifted, quietly, and nobody was tracking it. This is the part nobody plans for, not the deployment, the maintenance of alignment, because artificial intelligence systems don't break all at once. They degrade, and the early success phase hides that completely. Now, here's the second order effect. Once this happens, trust changes. People stop relying fully on the system. They add checks, then more checks, and those checks never go away. So the efficiency disappears, not because the artificial intelligence failed, but because the organization stopped trusting it. That's much harder to fix, because now you're not solving a technical problem. You're rebuilding confidence, and that takes longer than building the system in the first place. So what actually prevents this? Not better models, not more tools. It's visibility. You need to see how the system behaves over time, not just at launch. You need to see where people adapt, where workarounds appear, where output starts to shift, and someone needs to own that. Not the system, the outcome. Because early success is just the starting point, not the proof that it works. If this feels familiar, if you've seen a system perform well early on and then slowly become harder to rely on, I'm curious how that showed up in your company. And if you're trying to fix this properly, not just deploy artificial intelligence, but actually make it hold up over time, you can book a free call with me.